these are some dark pages from my life, but now I've turned them into art, and now this art is being digested to so many people, and these people like not it shows community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not alone in the things that I struggle with, and now the fans aren't alone either when they hear something, talking about addiction or eating disorders. There's so many people that struggle with these things, and I'm not the only one, and I think talking about it is what makes it better. I mean, why else do we have therapy as an option? Like, talking about it will make you feel better, and
Kasey, the EP is coming soon. I believe June 27, if I'm not mistaken. 7 is going to be here. So, given that this is yet another milestone in a crazy roller coaster of a ride for you in the last few years, how do you feel right now?
I am so excited. I am beyond, like, I can't believe just the response that we've gotten from like the small circle of people that have listened to it so far.
Right.
And we are so, so proud. I mean, like, this was such an experimental project for us, and to know that people are receiving it well just makes us feel a lot more confident in our abilities.
Awesome. Great. So, as I said, it has been a bit of a roller coaster for yourself, your career in entertainment so far. Um, with all the stuff that you've been doing, I had a chance to see you on a stage, not as Deadlands, but you were supporting, or you were on tour with Nita when she was here with Wolfgang Van Halen was here with Mammoth, obviously.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's
Love.
when I got to see you on a stage. In this crazy journey so far, like, do you have you allowed yourself to take some time to reflect and look back on what's happened so far?
I mean, yes and no, I would say. I think it all still feels like a whirlwind every single
Right.
day. And maybe that's because of my ADHD. I don't know, but I'm always on the grind, always working, and I love it, and it does definitely get crazy, but I think I have given myself some time to kind of like regather. So I think I'll be fine.
All right. Awesome. 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 Now you've already said we a lot. You also said project with Deadlands. Like, I mean, you're obviously, you've becoming very quickly a well-known face and voice in our scene. I assume a lot of thought must have gone into, like, okay, when you're working with CJ, is this going to be a band? Is it a project? Do we call it Deadlands? Is it going to be just under your own name? Those conversations must have happened, right? So
Yeah.
what was the main reason that's like, you know what, I'm not going to put out an album under my own name, which is getting traction already. It's going to be a very specifically defined project, or is it a band? Help me understand. Is there a difference?
So it is a band, and CJ and I do 50-50 of everything. Like, even down to the songwriting, he does like the production, he'll do all the instrumental stuff, and I'll come in with the lyrics and the melodies and tweaks. But like, it's definitely not a solo project, because like it's not just my brain
Right.
doing everything, you know what I mean? And I think CJ, he deserves so much more credit than he gets, because he is the backbone of this band. Like, without him, like, I wouldn't be able to write anything. I don't know how to play instruments, you know.
Right.
I can do the marketing just fine, and I could design some merch, or commission somebody to design some merch, but he has so many skills that benefit this band, that like most of it is behind the scenes work that no one even really knows. Like, he knows how to do graphic design, so he's done a handful of merch designs for us. He knows how to produce and play pretty much every single instrument there is. He knows how to edit videos like crazy, and a lot of the content that you see is from him. Like,
Right.
he needs so much more recognition, and I think when this album comes out, like, I think he really is going to be more so in the spotlight with me, and it's also just the availability, right? Like, we
Right.
don't live in the same house or anything, so and he's always working just as much as I am, so don't worry, we're both just as busy as each other.
There's I don't want to call it like a bad side or a dark side, but just like a tough side maybe to each of these roles, right? Like, he does a lot of work, and at times he might feel like, hey, I'm not getting the same time in the spotlight or the recognition. If you put that on its head, for you, it's the other way around. Like, for you, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
Like CJ could hide in a way. Like, if everything is going great, fantastic, you're basking in the sunlight or in the spotlight, but you can't hide anywhere. Do you feel that pressure on your shoulders? Because in a quote unquote average stereotypical band with 5 people, you'll still have those people that are the front of the band, and other people that can escape if they need to take a break. That's not
Yeah.
possible for you. Is that something that you're conscious of?
I think sometimes for sure, because I'll want to go to a show, and people will come up to me, and I don't mind. I really don't. Like, I love when people come up to me and talk to me. The only time that I don't like it is when I feel like I'm distracting from whoever's on stage.
Right.
Like, because I am not the show. I want to watch the show, and
Right.
if it's like a quick exchange of like, hey, love you, can I have a photo? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And it comes to the point where if I'm like talking to somebody throughout the set, I try and like, all right, thank you, love you. I don't want to like take away from their show experience either, because they paid money to be here,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So, but either way, like, it is definitely a blessing, and sometimes it can get a little overwhelming, but overall, I'm so grateful. I wouldn't change it for the world, and as long as the people on stage are not getting upset at me for maybe taking away from their show, then I will chat all night.
there you go. There you go. Maybe you just need to have, like, in your back pocket, like a fake mustache and
Yeah.
sunglasses or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
Uh,
The mustache will really do it.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. But then maybe you're gonna start a trend, and everybody comes to these shows with these big fake mustaches. Who knows? Um, Now, you already said, like, CJ plays a lot of different instruments, and there's a lot happening on this record. So there's 7 songs on this record. I think most people, by this point, know that you're kind of channeling the 7 deadly sins. This has become a very diverse EP. As you said earlier, like, only a few people had a chance to listen to it. I'm one of the lucky ones. This is very diverse. In that process that you kind of play off of each other and trying out different things, were there certain elements that we hear on this EP that you guys really fell in love with, that we should expect more of in the future?
Oh yeah. I mean, I love the fire that the Pretty Wild brought to Kundalini, and I would love to, take a couple of pages out of their book when it comes to the production, the synths. I mean, Andrew Wade, like, he is a legend just by himself. And when we were working with him, me specifically, I feel like I vibed with him so well, and I feel like he really understood what we all wanted, and it was fantastic. It was like no other synergy there was.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, I like, from the production, from the rap, from just the energy was impeccable. And then even like going down to, the verse and more, I love how it almost felt like cyberpunky techno-ish. And I also love the eerie feel, so I would love to lean more into that. And even down to Wither, man, like, it's so heavy, so brutal. I would love to have some more of that. And it's really just us playing around and having
Mm-hmm.
fun, and we're discovering new parts of ourselves every song that we write. So there's plenty more to come for sure.
You definitely open up, or at least we hear somebody telling emotional stories, which you would expect with the theme of the EP. How truly autobiographical are these stories, if you will? Because you do open up, and that can be scary also at times. And metal and metalcore is not. It's only in the last few years that it's become okay to be more vulnerable in our scene as a lyrics writer, if you will. But are there like specific moments in your life that fueled these songs, or are they more meant to be broader, generic storytelling?
A lot of them are very much so like stories from just my life. House of Cards originally wasn't even supposed to be a deadly sin. And it was just me being angry about how, I had been in a previous relationship that I was not treated very well at all. And of course, that will get anybody pissed off. So,
Yes.
I think having House of Cards be the foundation of like, this is how I'm angry, but also I'm also so upset about what happened because it was like a combination of a bunch of different people that I feel like had failed me as, whether that be in a relationship or in a friendship. And so it was just my calling out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we move on to Villain, where Villain, I am a prideful person, and Villain is the sin of pride. So I really had to look inward and just discover those parts of myself and almost pull them out on paper just to lock them away into the box of seven, and just try and be a better person myself. Gluttony, also eating disorders and addiction was a huge part of that song, and I mean I've been very close to both of those, so they definitely hit home and are not, for lack of a better word, I guess, not personal, I guess you could say. And I feel like as an artist, you should be able to tap into your emotions and get personal with it because otherwise as much as art is everybody else's and it's all subjective, like it's got to come from somewhere that's genuine and authentic in yourself.
Okay. So with what you say now, I mean, that's interesting because, obviously this work is your work and you kind of catapulted to stardom within our scene by covering other bands and also joining artists like Nina on stage. Now it's really your stuff, so that must feel great, but at the same time, some of these things do talk about some darker pages in your own life. And so I want to ask you this question. I try not to repeat questions to artists, but this is a question I have asked a few. Vulnerable and open and honest songwriters, if you will. What's that like for you now? Because you're going to go on tour and people are going to like these songs. They're going to want to hear these songs played live. When you touch on those very, very dark moments in your own life, is that always therapeutic and making it better, singing these songs over and over again? Or are you now forced and dealing with some PTSD potentially to revisit those darker moments on stage? And maybe at the same time both, but regardless, that can be emotionally quite draining. What's that like for you? Is it scary to sing these songs?
Honestly, for me, no, because these are some dark pages from my life, but now I've turned them into art, and now this art is being digested to so many people, and these people like not it shows community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not alone in the things that I struggle with, and now the fans aren't alone either when they hear something, talking about addiction or eating disorders. There's so many people that struggle with these things, and I'm not the only one, and I think talking about it is what makes it better. I mean, why else do we have therapy as an option? Like talking about it will make you feel better, and in a sense for me, like this album, when pulling out the deep cuts, you know, like the cover art with the box, right? And you know the story of Pandora's box?
Oh, I do.
Okay,
I
so
studied I
yeah.
studied ancient Greek, so
So
I know it
there
very
you
well.
go. Essentially, like we tried to like tap into that world as well a little bit. And
Hmm.
so we're putting all of these sins and all of these ugly tales from my life and you know, also pulling from outside experience sometimes. Um, but taking all of these cards and putting them in that box and locking them away means they have no power anymore. And the only power that they do have is just helping other people and that's why I do it, you know, that's why CJ does it and we wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if one of the many people that come to you at meet and greets introduces herself as a girl called Pandora, just run away and hide the box,
Oh
because
yeah.
otherwise. One of the elements that come up as well is kind of dealing with, I guess, the wrong expectations that people might have, and dealing with those kind of things and stereotype and whatnot. It comes back in a few songs, I think. But you know, as you say about, like, you know, it's all about building community. I'm just joking that, okay, it's only in the last few years that it's become kind of okay for metalcore bands to be a little bit more real, if you will. For you, like, what's a stereotype about metalcore that you'd like to get out of this scene?
That's a tricky one. I mean, it just makes me laugh when the elitists will just be like, metalcore is not real metal. I'm like, I do not understand where that comes from because
Right.
where else would it go? Like, you can't put it in pop, clearly, because pop will be like, what the hell is this? You can't put it in like EDM because EDM is like, there's no wubs here. Like, so where else is it gonna fit? Under the
Right.
umbrella of, I don't know, like it's got to be metal. So, and they say this about so many other genres too, like new metal. I'm like, okay, so just because it is not one genre, because it's a blend of genres, means that it's not metal. Your take is garbage. Like, just flat out hot garbage. Don't even talk to me.
You know, we spoke earlier about, like, you know, being in the spotlight. There's no doubt about it. Like, you are the face of this band, and that comes with expectations as well. And you've been very good at building that online community as well, which is great. What's your take on the? Is that something that you have a love-hate relationship with? Like, you know, I speak to it. It's great to see how many females in metal bands that I get to interview. Like, it's fantastic to see that. But more than a few will tell me. I think, you know, recently, like Shuttle to Whistles, who is a Dutch symphonic metal singer. She's like, part of me loves the dress up of it all, the fact that I get to wear all these crazy things and do these fantastic photo shoots and what have you. But it also bums me out that it's almost like it's not an option. Like, I have to do this, right? And the boys in the band can just wear their jeans and their t-shirt in the back and whatever, and they only have one day of photo shooting. I've got a whole week of photo shoots. What's your take on that, as somebody that has been very successful building her own brand and this band's brand? How do you look at
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I would absolutely agree. I love the dress up of it all, but it does get exhausting sometimes.
Hmm.
But, you know, I think we all know if we're in a band and as a front person, like we did sign up for it in like
Right.
that kind of capacity. But as far as like social media goes, I think yeah, like it definitely is a love-hate relationship for sure because, you know, I, especially being young and like I know the trends, I know everything that's gonna do well for the most part, and then
Right.
sometimes it just literally doesn't because the algorithm is just not on your side. Like it's definitely draining, and I think now what we are focusing on more so rather than quantity is just quality. And but of course, like quality means you need better resources, and it's not so much going to be DIY, I guess. Like it's a little harder to execute the vision that you want if you're going just straight for like the coolest thing that you can see on your For You page. So it definitely gets difficult, but again, like we signed up for it and wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. I mean, usually this is when people that I interview that have been in a band for like 20, 30, 40 years we talk about that. But for you, given how fast and how insane the growth has been with what you just say, like, are there now already things that you miss about the early days?
I miss being able to be excited about my next social media post and being like, oh my God, I can't wait for the reaction on this. Like, and I still get that for sure, but it's just not the same as it used to be, because when people are not, like when they aren't familiar with a face or familiar with the band, like they're hype about it because they discovered you. And like, while we're not even like the biggest band in the world, sometimes you get the imposter syndrome of like, well, like, am I really doing the right thing right now? Because it seems like no one's being receptive. And of course, like, it just works in cycles. It's gonna come back around, and it's gonna go back up and then go back down, and all that. And as long as I think we remember that, then we'll be okay.
All right, awesome. Now, so to wrap us up, you've got this fantastic run of shows coming up. Unfortunately, only United States shows, I believe. But we'll try to forgive you.
Sorry.
We're gonna, you're on the road with Seed Queen, who's been on the show as well, who is absolutely phenomenal. What can we expect from these shows? You've got a lot in your bag. You've got obviously this new EP. I don't know if you all have time for the whole EP. What should we keep our eyes open for?
Well, we're gonna play some old stuff. We're gonna play some new stuff. We're also gonna see like how the crowd is vibing with each song, and I would like to change the set list maybe halfway through tour and just see what everybody is thinking about the new stuff and which songs they'd like to hear most. But overall, it's going to be high energy. We're going to be grinding the hell out as much as possible, and we have some new elements to the show, which makes me really happy. Like we have some lights now, which is phenomenal. And it's just going to be so much fun.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure we'll get some, if we can't make it to a show, which I hope obviously we can make that work, but I assume we'll get some content from this tour coming up, and that everybody anywhere in the world can get a glimpse of what it's like going to the Deadlands show. Fantastic. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, Kasey. I wish you all the best with it. First, obviously, the release of this EP, and then all these fun shows that are coming our way. And next time, I hope to see you again here in Toronto, back in the Danforth, with or without Nita. Maybe she can open for you guys now.
Oh, that'd be incredible. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. They were such creative questions. You are great at your job, seriously. So thank you very much. I had a blast.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.